All right, this is how to buy a car to the glory of God. I have no idea how I'm going to get through this information in the time allotted. This originally was an hour and a half session at my own church on a Sunday afternoon, and 50 minutes, I don't know. But this is going to be recorded, so if you are in the business of buying a new car, or you know somebody that is, come back to this multiple times. I'll be happy to give you my notes as well to help out. So, Father, would you bless our session together and help us to be wise stewards of your money in Jesus' name. Amen. So, in my 40 years of attending church, I have never heard of a church or a pastor teaching how to be a good steward and glorify the Lord when buying a vehicle. However, I don't want you to think that I'm a guru or that I have this wonderful knowledge that I came by through excellence. No, my knowledge is the result of trial, error, really big mistakes, and employment in the sales industries at times. So I have two goals. Number one, we want to honor the Lord by being good stewards. We established that in another session. 1 Corinthians 4:2, moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. And then chapter 10, verse 31, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever do what? All to the glory of God. And number two, I want to save you money. Now, I know that I sound like a cheap car salesman when I say that, but I do sincerely want to save you money because so many people overpay when buying a car. So, let's talk about before you buy. Don't run out and buy a car, okay? There are things that you are going to do before you buy a car. And I want to teach you those things. Principle number one. Determine if buying a new vehicle is a want or a need. Do you know that there are people that just go out and buy new cars because they want new cars? You know, some people have the money to do that. And I'm not saying that that is wrong. But I've known people that don't have the money to do that anyway. And a name just popped into my wife's in my head that we know someone that just goes buy a new car at a whim. Whenever they get an itch, they need a new car. But is that really the best stewardship to glorify the Lord? I don't think it is. It can be done out of materialism, done out of the want or need for shiny things. I'm not saying it's wrong to buy a new vehicle. But what I'm saying is, it's a sin to be materialistic and use a vehicle as an emotional support system. Some people think, well, if I just get that new car, I'll feel better because I can have the new car smell. And that will last, but what happens when the shininess wears off? Yeah. So determine if buying a new vehicle is a need or is it a want. Principle number two. Identify yourself as a type of car buyer. So, there are four groups here that I want to give you. Number one, there's the new car buyer. Some buy new vehicles because they appreciate the newness, the reliability, and the lack of maintenance. The new car buyer. Nothing wrong with being a new car buyer. Number two is the used car buyer. Some allow the new car buyer to pay all the depreciation off the new vehicle and take advantage of that by buying a vehicle that's closer to the fair market value of that vehicle. You understand that when you buy a brand new car, the moment that you drive it off that lot and you have your name on the deed, you just lost thousands of dollars. You have a used car in your hands. So for the used car buyer, it opens the door for other things too, increased maintenance costs. A car that has zero amount of miles on it shouldn't have a lot of maintenance costs. A car that has 50,000 automatically will have more than something with zero. 100,000, 130,000, 200,000, whatever it might be, there's more maintenance costs. Number three, the fixer-upper. Some intentionally buy broken vehicles in order to repair them, and they find great value in doing so because they have the mind on how to do it. I'm not that guy. But I know plenty of people like that. And then number four, the leaser. Some people lease vehicles And there was often this looking down on people for leasing because it's automatically a waste of money. That's not necessarily true. Not all leases are equal. And I would say when my wife and I have leased a car, it actually put us financially ahead in the long run because of what we were able to accomplish with that lease. The benefits are reliability because it's a new car at a fraction of the original monthly cost for a new car. So not all leases the same. It can be beneficial. So which one are you? I have been personally in all four categories at some point in time. My first car, I was the fixer-upper. It was a bomb. I've had great deals as a car owner. I've had bad deals as a car owner. But all of them need to glorify the Lord. Principle number 3, count the costs. Be a good steward with the cost. Have you ever choked when you've seen a new car contract come off the printer in the financier's office? I remember the first time we financed a car, was it the Ford Ranger?
That would have been our first time.
Yeah.
Yes,
And the print and the contract came off the printer. And then we looked at the price. We thought we were getting a car for $7,000 and it turned out to be $45 billion because of all the charges added in. What? We didn't count the cost. Now, come to find out, it was a good deal in the long run anyway. But know what it's going to take to buy a new car before you take the plunge. For example, Jesus gives this principle. Luke 14, 28 through 30. The cost of discipleship. For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish the building of the tower? Well, that's foolishness. You build a tower because you know you can finish it. You don't get halfway done and say, whoops, all my building supplies are going to use them all. I can't afford it anymore. It's just going to be a half-built tower. Know the cost of buying a car. So, here's one thing. We bought a VW 3 years ago. The cost of my VW payment turned out to be about $191 a month. Pretty reasonable. In 1 year, I had to buy new tires, brakes, front springs, a fuel filter, and oil changes, roughly about $2,000 in value. That $191 a month quickly went to $357 a month because I bought a used car. Year 2, there were no new expenses, $191 a month. Year 3, we did a preventative maintenance at an additional $1,200. That's $125 a month added on. On the other hand, I bought a diesel, which in the summer gets 51 miles a gallon. On the way up here, what did I say? 46. So in cooler weather, not too bad. But diesel is also more expensive right now. And the reason I bought this car is because this engine typically lasts 300,000 miles. I have 104,000 miles on the car. We do 5,000 to 7,000 miles, or maybe 10,000 at the most. So if this is supposed to last another 200,000 miles, I can't see myself driving this car for another 20 years. But theoretically, that's what we're looking at. Okay? Count the costs. Know what it's going to cost. What are going to be your Passat repairs in the next year that are likely? Know your costs. Right? Principle number 4. Know what you are buying. Right? One of the biggest mistakes car buyers make is allowing the salesman to choose your car for you. No one sets out to buy a lemon. But cars are not free from defects, and you need to avoid bad cars. Let me show you this. Here is the 2018 Consumer Reports Never Buy. Now, things change through the years, but this is generally still true. Chrysler Town & Country, BMW X5, Ford Fiesta, Ram 1500, Volkswagen Jetta, don't buy a Volkswagen, Cadillac Escalade, Audi Q7, Fiat 500, Tesla Model 10, Chevy Silverado, Mercedes GL, Jeep Grand Cherokee, Mini Countryman, Dodge Charger, Ford. Okay, do you understand that there are cars that you should just not buy? By the way, what's missing off of that list? There's not a single Honda on that list. That doesn't mean there are aren't some bad Honda models. There are. There's not a single Toyota on that list. There's not a single Mazda, Hyundai, Subaru, or Kia from that list. That doesn't mean you're automatically clear in buying a Honda, Toyota, Mazda, Subaru, Kia. Doesn't mean that. Because you need to do the research to know if the model that you're buying is a lemon or it has a good reputation. And so you say, well, how do I do that? It's easy. These are your internet resources. Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book, Consumer Reports, JD Power, Carfax, Consumer Guide, Automotive.com, TrueCar.com, and RideShopper.com. You say, which one? Yes. You have to understand, buying a new car is an obsession with me. I use all of them. I know every single thing about a car before I buy it. So, for example, I really would like to have a Subaru Outback. If we were to go out and look at Subaru Outbacks right now, what is the average mile of the Subaru Outbacks for sale on a used car? 100,000 miles. Your average Subaru Outback has 100,000 miles. Why? Because the timing belt has to be changed at 100,000 miles, and it can take $1,500 to $1,800 to change the timing belt. You know how I know that? I learned. So when I bought my Volkswagen, we had 77,000 miles on it, and I said, at 100,000 miles on this car, we're going to need to change the timing belt, and for this car, that's $1,200 to $1,300. That's okay, because I knew it was coming. But you go out and buy a Subaru, and you have no idea if it has a timing belt or a timing chain, because some models have a chain, never have to change it, don't worry about it. But if that belt breaks, do you know what you own now? A boat anchor is what you own. You need a new engine. 4. In my car, $6,000. I need a new diesel engine. You know what you're buying. Resources. Use them. Read them. Compare. Principle 5. Know the fair market value. What is a vehicle worth? Now get this. A vehicle is only worth the price someone will pay for it. That's all a vehicle is worth. A vehicle is never worth the sticker price on the vehicle. Why do you think they put the sticker price, and then you drive by next month, and what does it say? It's a little bit lower. It's a little bit lower. It's a little bit lower. Is it fair for a company or a salesman to make a profit on a vehicle? Yeah, they're going to make a living. There's nothing wrong with capitalism. Well, according to us, anyway. But your duty is to know what your car is worth. And there's a few different ways to do that. You go to the resources that I just gave you. Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book, Consumer, they're all going to give you, enter in make, model, year, condition, package, and it's going to come up with different values of your car. And you're going to learn from these websites what your car is worth. So, my Volkswagen on the lot was marked originally when I first saw it $14,500. By the time I got to the lot a few months later, it was $13,900. Well, I'd started looking at different comps on this vehicle, and I pulled 3 comparisons of cars for sale in the area that are similar. And I said, is this car worth $13,500? No, because this car is for sale 50 miles away for a cheaper price. I don't want to go 50 miles away. I want to buy it in my neighborhood. But I know the value of my car. So what I do is I never settle on one car. Ever. I didn't want a Volkswagen. It was on my list. I made a list. There are certain aspects on that list. I was looking at a Kia Soul. I was looking at a Chevy Equinox. I was looking at a Subaru Forester. I was looking at a Subaru Outback, or I wanted a Volkswagen Sport Wagon. I took 5 vehicles. I didn't limit myself to one. And I said, I'm going to now find 3 comparisons so I know the fair market value of all those cars. And I put them in a notebook. Guess where that notebook went when I went car shopping? To every dealership I was in. So that when I step on the lot and they say, wow, look at this Volkswagen, I can say, excuse me. I open my notebook and I say, oh, how many miles on this? Check. How many miles on this? Oh, yep. So I know the value of that car the moment that I step on that lot. So, if you're interested in a 2015 Toyota Camry with 80,000 miles, go on the internet. Find 3 Toyota Camrys in that same range to see what the price is. Slap them into a notebook and then start looking at that vehicle. Does that make sense? So you're not stuck into buying one single thing. And a notebook also tells the salesman that you're not a foolish buyer. That you've got your mind working and he can't take you automatically. But it's also unfair to the salesman, and this is a testimony thing. It's unfair to expect that salesman to give you the best deal possible and have him not make a profit. That's not fair. That's not a good testimony. So yes, my dad, he's like the best man who slaps around these car salesmen. Is that the best testimony? We want the best deal, but we want to glorify the Lord. At the end of the transaction, can you take out a track and say, hey, I'm a Christian. It was nice doing business with you. And he's going to go, no, that's not what you want. Principle 6, know your financing options. Do not shop for cars unless you know your credit score already. Don't do it. Do not rely on the dealer to give you financing. The majority of car buyers say, I need a new car, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show up to the dealer. They'll take all the care of the finances for me. Have we ever done that? Yep. Don't do that. You, number 1, learn your own financing package based on your credit score. Okay? Are dealers the most honest in car sales? No. Do you understand that the dealer is there to make a profit off of you? And they will do it any way they can. I'll show a few instances in a moment. So here's what you do. Pull your own credit bureau report. Annualcreditreport.com. Totally free. Or, I think our Discover card gives us, right? So we already know my credit score, and it's updated on my credit card. So our credit card monitors it for me. Before financing with a dealer is a consideration. And this is something that I've learned. Go to a credit union or your bank first to see what they will offer you as a deal. For example, on my VW, Northeast Credit Union financed us at 3.1%. I went into the dealership, and that's the bank that I wanted to work with, my own credit union, and that's where we financed it through. I knew my credit score, and I knew roughly what it would be. Know that before you ever start looking for a vehicle. Most people tag that onto the end. That's the wrong step. Now, what is the danger in allowing the car company to finance your car for you?
Do they sell it to other companies?
Exactly. So your finance officer sitting in the office, he puts in all your credit stuff. He gets offers on his screen. And it will say, hey, here's a good deal. Here's Tim Lewis, 3.1%, Northeast Credit Union. That's what I requested. I didn't want to entertain any other deal. Boom, done. But because I did that, he didn't entertain anything else. But if he has this one offer down here that says, well, don't give Tim a 3.1% credit rating, or finance charge. Give Tim 5%, we'll kick you back one. We'll give you a bonus for every car that you sell if you use our company. Who's paying for that bonus? You are. Every single time. I suggest that you, if possible, determine your financing before you ever visit the dealer. Invest in a credit union. It is the best way to get going on buying a car. Homes as well. Download a car calculator app on your dumb phone. Why? Because a car calculator can tell you the cost of the car, the down payment, your interest that your credit score will pay, and then it will tell you your exact dollar of what you should expect on a monthly basis for a car payment. So if I come in and I'm looking at a car that's $10,000, probably about $200 a month would be a normal car payment on that car. And the dealer says, I can put you in that car for $250 a month. Well, yeah, they just made $50 a month off you and it wasn't necessary to pay. They took the price of the car and they raised it for you. So, this is going to change, and this is different from the last time I did it. Your national average, if you have bad credit, you can expect on average for a new car 13.42% in finance charges or 20.62. All the way down, super prime, on a used car, almost 6%. On a new car, 5.75. So obviously I bought my car 3 years ago and I put 3.1%, we were in a better economy, right? We bought our car as soon as COVID hit. And it was just the Lord put us in that position. You know who was buying cars as soon as the emergency of COVID hit? Nobody. Everybody was scared and everybody was at home. So I told my wife, let's go buy a car. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to go through my personal things here, okay? Lot price on our Volkswagen Jetta was originally $13,995. I think it was $14,500 a few months before that. I was watching it. I know, because I did my research online, that that company took this car as a trade-in and they probably only paid $7,200 for it. Why would I pay $13,995 if they paid $7,200? Do you get it? Is there anything wrong with marking the price up that high? No. They have the right to do it. But you have the right not to pay it. So, I found the car. I went home to my wife and I said, I think I found the car. But I'm going to pay what I want to pay. And I said, Andy, I'm going to offer this amount, and if he says no, I will walk away. $9,500 out the door. I told him, I'm making an offer. I'm not changing my offer. You can either take it or leave it. I said, okay. $9,500. Never seen a man so beaten in my life. And he went, all right. But I know he's making a couple grand off of me already.
did you find out the trade-in value?
All those websites I had. It gives you everything you need to know. I put $1,000 down as a minimum. So about 10% I put down. You can put 20 is the recommended. I'll talk about that in a minute. So I financed $8,500 at 3.1% for 48 months. Credit score was 826 at that time. My estimated payment on my car calculator was $188.52 with a different couple charges that came in at $191. I don't care. I know that my monthly interest is $11.43. That's what I paid for that car. Total interest over 48 months, $548.85. Total interest over 36 months, $412. Which is the better deal? 48 months or 36? 36 is the better deal. But my car payment would have gone up to $247.57. So I said, I really want to be around that 200 mark. So is it okay to have a difference of $150 in interest charges spread over 3 years? I can swallow that. That's okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I knew my interest charges prior to purchasing that car. So we wanted to be under $200. So by giving it one more year on payments, we added $136.51 to the if we paid it off in full. We paid it off in 3. So I knew that my total price of this car would cost me $9,912.34. There was no surprises. I already knew generally what it would cost. That is a good deal. Very good deal. Here's a bad deal. Average cost of the car, $20,000. Interest rate, 15%. Average term, 60 months. Payment, $475.80. Total interest charges you are paying, $8,547.92. So your $20,000 car just became $28,547. And what is your car value after you've driven it for 60 months? $10,000. You just went $18,000 in the hole in a period of 45 years. Not a good deal. Even worse deal. $20,000, 15 interest rate. 72, because we all know if you just tack on another year, you have cheaper payments, right? Yes. So we bring the payment now down to $422.90. And the total interest, we just went up and brought it to $10,400. And in 72 months, my car is now worth $8,000, but I've paid $30,000 plus on that car. Bad deal, right? So, count the costs. Know your options. If this sounds foreign to you, don't buy a car. Call me, and we'll walk you through it, and we'll go through everything you need to know, okay? Principle 7. Please be an educated car buyer on how the process works. Do you want to buy a car from this guy? I don't. So, how do we be educated? Well, number one, are you trading in a car? Know the value of your trade-in. Do you think he wants to pay what your trade-in's worth? No. Research the fair market value of the vehicle you own if you were trading it in. Compare that value. Now, trade-ins are not worth the same cost of resale. New car dealers or used car dealers cost the most. Private party sales are second, and trade-ins are the lowest. If your trade-in value is $2,000 lower than what you can get in a private sale, sell the car through a private sale. That's a lot of money. Be reasonable about the fair market value. And if a dealer is offering much more for the fair market value, understand that you're going to be paying for it somewhere. So, Fella in our church comes to me and says, hey, I got this dealer. They want to give me $24,000 for my car. I said, what? What's your car worth? 12? Really? Yeah, here. Well, sure enough. Make, model, VIN. They want to give him $24,000 for this car. It's not a bad car. It's not a $24,000 car. Okay, great. Oh, wait. Fine print with the purchase of a new vehicle. Ah. So we went in and saw what this vehicle qualified for. Well, the best one there was $80,000. Thanks. No thanks. Understand that if you go on and say, okay, so my Passat is worth X amount of dollars, and they'll say, hey, we'll double that for you. Well, where's the money coming from going? Because money's not free. There's a catch somewhere, so look out for it. Narrow your options. Never, and I said this before, never lock in that you must have this one vehicle. Oh, but I love that Chevy Corvette. Well, good for you. But understand that leaves you open to being manipulated into buying that one car. If you have a multiple range of about 3 to 5 models that you are willing to buy, the salesman can't go, I got them when I want them because I got to have that car. Happens all the time. Happened to my dad when I was in college. So there were 2 cars that we liked. One was a Chevy S10, that was mine. And the Lincoln town car that my dad wanted, it was so marked up it was ridiculous because Dad had to have that car. And Dad paid for that car through the nose because he had to have that car. Don't have to have a car. Have a general idea of what meets your needs. Do you need an SUV because you have 45 collies that you got to put in the back? Well, fine. What SUVs hold 45 collies? There's a bunch that you can research and learn. Do you have to have a family vehicle? Do you want something that is great on gas mileage? Just know what you're getting. Know your options. Establish a price that you are comfortable paying for a car. Not monthly. A price you're paying for the car. Don't go over your budget. I know that my budget is $200 a month. I am limited to a $10,000 car. I'm not going for the $12,000 car. If you want a $12,000 car, go ahead and save up so that you can afford the $12,000 car and you put another $2,000 down. Know the cost that you can afford. Now, working with salesmen is not easy. And I want to give you the list of dreaded questions that you are not going to answer at a car dealership. Are you ready? Here they are. Number 1. The number 1 question that they are going to ask you is, how much can you afford on a monthly basis? Why is that a bad question to answer? Or more. So, let's say you're looking at a $10,000 vehicle that this gentleman just paid $6,000 for, right? And you say, I can afford $200 a month. Okay, I got a $4,000 profit, but you know what? Nobody ever pays $200 a month. I can squeak them up to $225. And you just bought a car that's not even worth what you paid for. The price of the car is only worth what someone will pay. Many dealers avoid now these days even putting sticker prices on the car because the price of the car is so flexible, they want you to come in and you determine the cost of the car over your means and then you'll pay for it. A salesman can raise the price to meet your need. And they'll say, oh, that car? Yeah, I could probably get you out $175 a month, but I'm not going to do that because you just told me $200. And I'm going to find ways to get you to $200, and even if it's only worth $175. That's what they do. It's making money. So, when a salesman says, young man, how much do you want to pay per month? What is your answer? I haven't decided yet. I haven't made up my mind. And he goes, what? I'm just car shopping. I'm looking. I haven't decided. Number 2, are you paying cash or credit? Do you need financing? What's your answer? I haven't decided yet. Oh, you know by this point. If you don't know, you're in trouble. I haven't decided yet. I haven't signed a contract. Well, the truth is, I can go get $10,000, $20,000 cash from my credit union and bring it over, or I can finance it at the dealership. I haven't decided yet. Okay? We don't lie. We're just honest. So we say, I'm undecided. The reason the salesman is asking you, do you want to pay cash or credit, is because he's trying to minimize or maximize his monthly payment on that car. Now, never, 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 never tell the car salesman you're paying cash today. Never, unless it's your grandma, that's fine. Why? Car dealers don't make the most money off of cash sales. They make money off financing. Don't tell them you're paying cash. The finance cost is cheaper than cash, and they will play with the finance cost all over the place. You are not going to tell any salesman your monthly budget. You're not going to tell them that you're paying cash. You are not going to reveal you're paying cash until you're in the office ready to sign over the car. I'll tell you in a moment. May I make a copy of your driver's license? Why do they do that? Well, because our insurance company tells us that we can. Absolute lie. They just want to take your license and put it into the database so that you are now a customer. That's all. So, if you refuse to give them your license, they can say, fine, you're not taking a test drive. They can. That might be their policy. But if you hear, oh, it's because our insurance company mandates it, they're a liar. Just know who you're dealing with when they lie to you. Now, if you have no problems giving them your information, that's fine. But understand, the moment that the sales agent takes a copy of your license, you belong to that salesperson for this purchase. What if you don't like the guy? What if you think he's cheesy and dishonest? You can't get rid of him because he already put you in the database with your license. You have to go through him at that particular dealership. That's what the license thing is all about. What do you do for a living? It's none of your business what I do for a living. I'm not here to fellowship with you. I'm here to buy a car. It's none of your business. Who pays more for a car, a doctor or a McDonald's worker? The doctor does. Because he has more income. It's rotten, but that's what it is. Oh, by the way, never wear nice clothes to a car dealership. Look as gross as you can. Don't shower for a few days, I'm serious. Do you have a trade-in? What are you trying to get out of it? What is the answer to that one? I'm not decided yet. Why? Because the salesman is now testing your knowledge. He wants to know if you know what your trade-in is worth. What are you trying to get out of it? What happens if your trade-in's worth $6,000 and you say, oh, $4,000. You just lost $2,000. He's not going back up to $6,000. Not happening. If you undervalue your car, he's going to pounce on you and he's going to take it. If you overvalue your car, he's going to now start firing rapid questions at you, trying to knock you down. And it's just not really where you need to be. Okay? Now, there are 3 types of salesmen on the lot. The face, the manager, who is your hero, and the finance officer, who is your best friend. So, none of these people are your friends. They're salesmen. The face will get you out front of the dealership. Okay? He's the one or she's the one that comes out and talks to you when you walk onto a lot. And they don't have any power to do anything. They're a greeter. They are a screener. The manager is often confused as the guy with all the power and authority. We found out this the hard way when we bought our first car, because because I didn't want to I wasn't even playing hardball. I wasn't going to buy that car. And he ran back to his manager 500 times. The manager doesn't have authority. The face runs to the manager, and they do the good cop, bad cop routine. This is a sales tactic. I got 10 minutes to get through this. I don't know if I can do it. The finance officer. He's always the nice guy. This is the worst salesman on the lot. He's the most dangerous one. He is the best salesman on the lot. His office makes the most money because he adds on things to the car. You need your paint protection. You need your carpet protection. You need this. You need that. He is the best at talking you into products, none of which you need to buy. How can you tell a good salesman? He will give you space. She will give you space. They will listen and show interest in your needs and not talk to you about something you don't want. They won't put pressure on you buying now. If the cost of the car next week is not the cost of the car today, walk away. They're a liar. Oh, we're having this sale and we have to get it out. If you buy today, it'll be $1,500 cheaper. No, it won't. You're not charging me $1,500 more next week because I come in. The cost of the car is the cost of the car. It's only worth what I will pay for it. Okay? Look for honesty. Look for respect. Ask this question. Okay, kids? Ask this. Ready? Would you trust this person with your grandmother? And if you say no, walk away. You want an honest person. All right. It is time to have fun when you're buying your new car. So what you're going to do is you're going to schedule test drives. You already got your notebook with you. You already got the comps. You're already going to know what vehicles you're looking at. And so you are going to use this day to go and have fun and drive your cars. It's going to be a blast. You're going to go to multiple dealerships. It can be done over a period of a few weeks. Don't visit just one dealership a day. Compare. Find people that you are trustworthy with. Make the salesman know that I am not buying today. No matter how much pressure he puts on you, we do not buy on test drive days. Don't discuss any numbers. Period. This is test drive day. Do you like the car? A good salesman can really romance you into buying the car today. He can. They are good. Take his business card instead. Visit that salesman on another day and check in. Choose the salesman that gives you the best service. Would you trust your grandmother with that person? Now, here's what we're going to do. Before you go and finally choose that car, you got to call your insurance company. And you're going to ask what it takes to insure that car. Because it might be substantially more than what you're paying right now. And then you are going to ask this question to your insurance company. How much is gap insurance? Do you know what gap insurance is? Gap insurance is a good safety tool. So let's say the car I buy is $10,000 used car. And I drive off the lot and boom, I'm totaled. And the insurance company comes back and says, you paid $10,000. That car is only worth $8,000. We are only going to pay you $8,000. What happens to the extra $2,000? You are on the hook for it. Gap insurance is a premium per month that protects you against that happening. If your car is worth more than what you owe on it. Okay? If you go to a dealer, you will get gap insurance for $35 a month. If you call your insurance company beforehand, you'll pay $35 a year for gap insurance. Don't buy gap insurance at a dealer. And that's card dependent. Buy it through your insurance company. Number 3. Oh, sorry, next slide. Here we go. Don't buy your car. What are you going to do? Pray, pray, pray. Ask the Lord to guide you and to give you peace about this car. We pray about it. Number 4. This is now how you're going to formulate your car deal. You You are buying the car. Nobody is selling the car to you. What is the fair market value of the car? On my car, the fair market value, or at least the trade-in for what they paid, was $7,200 for my VW. I wasn't trading anything in, but you need to know what your trade-in is actually worth. We're not negotiating monthly payments in any way, shape, or form. We're evaluating the overall price of the car. You now set the price of the car. I am willing to pay for this Volkswagen $9,500. They have it for $13,995. They paid probably $7,200. I'll pay them $9,500. What is the worst thing they can say? No. Do they have the right to do that? Do you have a right now to negotiate and say, okay, what is the lowest you can come? And find a compromise in the middle? That's fine. That's fair. As long as you know what you're buying and what you're paying for and you're educated at this point. Always have an independent mechanic look over used vehicles to assure they will pass inspection and are good repair. An independent mechanic. You take that car and you ask the dealership, I would like to bring it to this mechanic. You're going to pay about $100 to $200 for this process. But in the long run, it could save you thousands. Thousands. And if the dealer says, no, we can't do that, walk away. What are you hiding? Why wouldn't you have an independent mechanic look at this vehicle? Never buy a used car without an independent mechanic. Ever. Ever. So, if you're doing a trade-in, this is what you're going to spring on them. The day that you're going to take this car and get it checked out is the day they are going to determine the fair market value of your trade-in. You put them in a pickle and you say, I'm going to the mechanic to get this checked out. I'll be back in an hour. And in that hour, you're going to go ahead and you're going to determine the price of my trade-in. Oh, okay. You've caught them off guard and they're going to start evaluating right now. Now, do not get in the habit of downgrading how bad your car is. You know how bad your car is. He doesn't. He's a professional. She's a professional. It is their job to evaluate your car. You know that driver's light doesn't work thing? Don't tell them that. If they can't figure it out, that's their problem, not yours. Oh yeah, the driver's light. Oh, yep, there's $500 there. I just took off. Oh, you see that broken taillight. Or something's wrong here, something's wrong there. That's their problem. They are the professionals to evaluate the cars. So you are going to take that hour, and when you come back, you are now going to make your offer. It can be the face. He's the front man. It can be the manager. You are going to say, okay, car checks out. I like it. What are you giving me on my trade-in? We're giving you this on your trade-in. Okay? Fair market value on my trade-in is close to that, so I'll work with that. Or $2,000 off? Not happening. So here's my comps. I already know how much it's worth, and you're kind of pulling over fast on me, so not doing it. So what you're now going to do is you're going to make an offer for that car. And you're going to say, I'm going to pay you $9,500 for that car. Takes it back to the manager. Okay, you have a deal. Don't say anything to the manager or the face ever again. You immediately say, can I please talk to the finance officer? Let's get this done. That's it. You're done with the salesman. You are going to the finance officer. You meet with him. You get the finance officer to tell you the exact amount that has been agreed. Are we agreeing to $9,500 on this car today? Yes, that is what we are doing. It is then, and only then, you say, all right, I'm paying in cash today. Because he can't raise the price because he just agreed that it's $95. Because if he doesn't agree to it, that car just became worth $11,000. That's the way sales works. Once you ask the officer, or the finance officer, the price of the car, get it locked in, then you can come and say, oh, I have my own financing. I'm working with Northeast Credit Union. Could you please call them and do the financing for me? You just stripped him of all his power of charging you more money. Understand, there are fees to buying a car. There's doc fees, document fees, there's delivery fees, window etching, that warranty, this warranty. You don't need any of that. Now, it is fair for a dealership to say, and this is the way the Volkswagen was because I loved it. He had on the wall, to buy any car, there is a processing fee of $360. That's fair. But you've got to know how much that processing fee is prior to ever doing your financing, okay? You want to pay that processing fee in cash. You don't want an extra $360, if that's what it is, on top of your loan, because you're getting interest on that. So when I bought the VW, I said, I want my VW for $9,500 out the door. What did I mean? All your fees are included in the price of that car. So essentially, I said, you're waiving the fees, I'm paying you $9,500. That's the cost of my car. He didn't have a problem with that. Sign your contract. Never go into the finance officer's office alone. 4 eyes are better than 2. Go through and make sure everything meets up. Ask the officer to step out of his room because you and your partner want to go through the contract together. Circle anything on that contract that is out of sorts and doesn't match what you have agreed to. Have him come in and say, I circled this. It means he has to reprint it over correctly. That's fine. It's just the cost of printer paper. It'll be involved. Decide if you want a warranty. Understand that warranties are just sales. You don't have to buy a warranty at a dealership. You can buy it at a different company at a later date. Don't they call you all the time anymore? So I've got a little bit out of sync here. Some final rules. Understand that a car is not an investment, right? It's a money pit. Yes, old classic collector's cars are good. But long-term loans hurt your value and your finances. If you cannot finance the car in 36 to 48 months max, don't buy that car. Save up more. Don't take out 60-month, 72-month car loans. It is a waste in interest. If you can, 20% down is ideal, 10% minimum. If you don't have it, don't buy the car. Why? Why are we putting at least 10% down? Because you're paying more for the car than it's probably actually worth. And that 10 to 20% that you just put down means that you're not underwater in the loan, upside down in the loan. A lot of people will say, I need a new car every few years. And so they'll take out a $25,000 loan on a car and have high interest rates. And then in a couple years, they'll say, hey, let's just redo that. And so this person is now paying for 3 and 4 cars 15 years. And they've never been caught up and actually owned anything. They're always paying finance charges. Don't go underwater. Try to pay for your taxes, your titles, your license fees out of pocket. New car, go to multiple dealerships because no dealership is any time the same. You will see that this car on this lot is identical to that one over there, but this is a different sale price. Always go to different sale prices. Best time to buy a car at the end of the month because they got to get their monthly quotes. Outgoing models at the end of the year. Do you need the next year's or can you live with last year's? Last year's is always cheaper. The best months, end of December, end of October. November is right there too. Deals can be found in February if a dealer is desperate to move cars and it's been a slow season. Earlier in the week is better because the quota has to be met. So buy your car Monday and Tuesday and you'll get a better deal than the weekend because everybody is shopping on the weekends. He is guaranteed a sale.